Good morning, and welcome to your morning cereal. Okay, good morning, and welcome to Tuesday. Well, I hope you made it through April Fool's Day without any major stresses over any practical jokes that were played on you. You know, sometimes when I'm preparing for this show, I feel like someone's playing a practical joke on me with all of these national days of this or that, right? And April is chock full of them, and they have something for everyone. Here's just a few of them for this day of April 2nd. Okay, the first one, a day of hope. Hope is good. It's not a plan or a strategy, but in general, hope is good. International Fact-Checking Day. Does anyone even really care about facts anymore? Come on, people. National PB&J Day. Everybody can get behind that one. National Walking Day. Well, not to brag, but I walk every day to my desk, to the bathroom, to the refrigerator multiple times. You get the picture. And lastly, National Ride Your Horse to a Bar Day. Now, I'm down with this one. I just need to borrow somebody's horse. Well, today's quote is from the character Oberyn Martell, and he said, quote, "It's a big, beautiful world. Most of us live and die in the same corner where we were born and never get to see any of it. I don't want to be most of us," end quote. Do you recognize that quote? It's from Game of Thrones, but I still think it applies to all of us living in true Westeros. Today's news, facts, and birthdays are for April 2nd, and we're going to start back in 1939, and that's when singer Marvin Gaye, he was born. Then jumping up to 1978 on this date, the soap opera Dallas debuted as a 5-part miniseries on American television. This TV show became a huge hit, and I never really watched it, but I definitely do remember my parents' generation making sure we were home in time for Dallas. But I still don't know who shot JR. And then moving all the way up to 1995, that's when, on this date, the longest strike in American Major League Sports history, which was 232 days long, ended as the MLB owners accepted the players' offer to return to work without a contract. The MLB was the first major pro sports league to lose an entire postseason due to a labor dispute. Well, happy birthday to you. If today is your birthday, you share a birthday with actor Pedro Pascal, who played Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones, and he stars in The Mandalorian as well. He turns 50 today. This is the way. And the number one song on this date back in 1987 was Lean on Me by Club Nouveau. And this song won a Grammy for the best R&B song, and it probably has one of the most recognizable 6-beat intro of any song. But this was a remake of Bill Withers' original song from 1972 with that same timeless beat and with the lyrics that we all need at times, right? When we need a friend to lean on. Great songs. Well, it's time for some personal growth in our book review segment, and today we're starting a new book. We finished How to Win Friends and Influence People yesterday, and we've been on that book for over 3 months now. So I'm excited to start a new book with you guys. Here is the new book that we are reviewing. It's Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So to give you a bit of a roadmap, this book, similar to our last book, is set up in 4 different parts, with part 1 entitled Paradigms and Principles. And the final 3 parts each have specific habits associated with them, each of those being Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, just before we begin, I read through the quotes and the blurbs on the back cover and inside the book from the leaders that have read this book, and they are all very similar to this quote by Anthony Robbins, who is the author of Unlimited Power. And he said, quote, "Fundamentals are the key to success. Stephen Covey is a master of them. Buy his book, but most importantly, use it," end quote. He says to use it, implement these habits into your everyday life. And that is also what Carnegie's philosophies required of us as well, to use them to transform how we live and interact. Lastly, today, I wanted to know just a little bit more about the author, Stephen Covey, and I'll share that with you here just briefly so that we know who we're learning from here. Covey, he graduated with a degree in business administration from the University of Utah. We won't hold that against him. Then he earned his PhD in religious education from BYU. We won't hold that against him either. And throughout his life, he received 10 other honorary doctorates. And he wrote many books on leadership. And in 1996, Time magazine actually named him one of the 25 most influential people. Now, the book we are set to read is number 5 on the all-time most books sold list for self-improvement books at over 25 million copies sold. Well, tomorrow we're going to get into chapter 1, but I'll send you on your way with this quote that hovers just above the first paragraph of the book, where Covey quotes David Starr Jordan, who said, quote, "There is no real excellence in all this world which can be separated from right living," end quote. Sometimes all we can hope for is to live right in the end. Well, live right today, people. Thanks for joining us today. Come back tomorrow and have a fantastic day. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Morning Serial podcast on the One Life Live It channel. You can find more episodes and videos by visiting our YouTube channel and the website at Sean Inglis and at SeanInglis.com, where you can also follow our other podcasts, the Mr. and Mrs. Inglis podcast and the Life Happens podcast. In these other podcasts, we'll dive deeper into everyday issues, self-improvement and well-being, business and finance, and we welcome special guests too. So join us. It'll be a good time, I promise. Thanks again for listening. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow.